I'm Danielle from the Sweeney Agency, and I'm very pleased to welcome Richard Worzel, a leading forecaster and futurist, chartered financial analyst, and best-selling author. In his highly customized live and virtual events, Richard challenges organizations to think differently about the future and about their role in it. He provides key tools that people can use to leverage change and identifies the most important factors affecting businesses right now. We learned from the financial crisis of 2008, and something we were discussing earlier, it took approximately 4 years for businesses and economies to reach a semblance of normal. Given our current situation, what sort of time frame do you think we're looking at to a recovery to a new normal?
Well, it's not going to be one time frame. It's going to be different time frames for different people, for different organizations, and for different parts of the economy. What you're going to see is you're going to see that some organizations aren't being hit at all right now. In fact, they're doing better. The online merchants and the grocery stores and the supermarkets and anybody serving essential needs for the general public is doing well. So they don't need to bounce back. They're already back. In fact, they may see a drop in sales as the economy recovers and other alternatives open up. So they're not hurting now. They may hurt a little bit later on. There are going to be some organizations that will come back fairly quickly. For example, dollar stores, when they're allowed to open up again, people are going to be buying basic stuff. They're going to be restocking their houses for things that they didn't have and they ran out of, but weren't important enough to go out to get. So, people who serve consumer basics are going to come back fairly quickly once the economy opens up again. There are going to be organizations that come back very slowly because they were hit very hard. So luxury goods, they will come back because there is still money out there, but they're not going to have as broad a market as they did before. They're going to have fewer customers, and the customers that come back may be less willing to reach for that tippy top premium offering. So those people are going to come back, but they may come back more slowly. And then there are going to be sectors of the market like the food industry, like the food service industry, that have been hit very hard. And at least half of the restaurants that you used to eat out at are going to be gone. They'll be bankrupt. So it's going to take them a long time, that sector a long time to come back. Now, the other side of that is with less competition, those companies or those organizations that do survive are going to have more opportunity. So they should be thinking about, how do we take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be out there? I was speaking with one food service group, and they were talking about gaps in their supply chain. And I said, in the next month or so, when people start getting desperate, if you can plan ahead and start thinking about the things that would be useful for you to have, now is a great time to negotiate a deal. I have a friend who just went out and started looking at luxury cars. And I asked him why he was doing it. He says, well, I've got the money. I've been thinking about buying a car, and I know I can drive a great deal right now. So the answer to your question is, how long is it going to take to recover? It depends on how long is it going to take who to recover. So the economy as a whole will start to come back slowly. It won't bounce back. This is not going to be a V-shaped recovery, but it will start coming back, and it will come back in different ways. But it's going to be a slow recovery overall, even though it may be faster for different sectors.
And do you see that as being a global recovery, or nation-based, or one closely tied to the other?
I think this is going to be very spotty. For example, those countries that are hit hardest by the virus are going to be slowest to recover, because they will have suffered longer shutdowns, and there'll be more bankruptcies. There'll be fewer people with lots of money, so it's going to take them time. I would say the United States is actually going to be hard hit because they're opening up too quickly. And we're going to see that they're going to have to shut down again in places, not everywhere, as the virus starts to spike again. And that's going to mean that different parts of the U.S. are going to be hurt differently as well. New York, it's going to take New York City, which was the hardest hit, at least initially. It's going to take them a long time to come back fully from where they are. Globally, I think it's going to take time for different parts of the world. For example, I think that once the virus makes its way through, Africa, excuse me, Africa is going to be very hard hit because they have very little infrastructure for this kind of emergency. I think parts of Latin America are going to be hit hard. I think parts of East Asia are going to be hit very hard because they don't have the healthcare infrastructure. They don't have the cadre of health professionals to help people come back. And that means their economies are going to come back more slowly. So the global economy is going to recover, but it's going to be very uneven. And by the way, that also means that different countries are going to have competitive advantages compared to their national competitors.